Hello, and welcome to your new favorite Bookish podcast, Fully Booked and Caffeinated. I'm Kelsey,
And I'm Heather.
and today we have our monthly bonus episode, Bookish Banter and More, where we discuss the other books we've been reading this past month and whether we recommend them, and also our other favorite pop culture obsessions. Heather,
Hmm.
it is a beautiful Sunday morning,
It
and
is a
spring
gorgeous.
seems to be upon us. I see the sun peeking out.
Spring has
So
sprung.
I mean, don't jinx it. It
I
is
know.
springing. I would say it's currently springing. So, what beverage are you drinking this sunny morning?
I mean, it doesn't even go with it at all because I was not leaving the house to get coffee this morning because I didn't want to get out of my pajamas. So I'm just drinking a nice hot K cup with some uh, sweet cream creamer, which is my favorite creamer.
Oh, the sweet cream is good.
Uh-huh. So it's nothing fancy. It's nothing fancy. Although I will
It's
say
not
this,
springy.
the past couple days I've been getting Dunkin' and Starbucks, and I found out, and this was the most amazing news that I ever discovered because being pregnant, I can't really have too much caffeine. Starbucks has decaf espresso roast. And I had
Really?
no idea. I found out in my pregnancy Facebook group, someone had posted
Uh-huh.
about it. And so yesterday or the day before, I got my white chocolate mocha because it was in the
Mm-hmm.
afternoon, and I got it fully decaf. And I'm like, this is
That's
dangerous because now I can
awesome.
go to Starbucks all the time after work if I want to have a Starbucks,
Yeah.
if I'm like craving coffee.
Yeah. But now
Hmm.
you can have it and not have to worry about putting less espresso in it.
And it's all my
That's
favorite because
nice.
I don't really like Starbucks. When I go to Starbucks, I always get like the espresso drinks. I don't get
Yeah,
coffee
yeah.
espresso drinks. So it's like upsetting. And now they have a decaf espresso roast.
So now Starbucks is going to bankrupt you.
Yep.
Okay, that's nice.
Yep.
All right, well, I have a weird one today. I'm cleaning out my Nespresso pods because I just put in a huge new order, and I found this random pod. It's forest almond.
Oh.
I don't know. So I have that with French vanilla creamer. It's
Mm.
not great. It's not awful. I'm gonna drink it, but it's not great.
Is it like
But
nutty flavored?
yes, but also fruity. And I hate
Uh,
fruity coffee.
Me
I
too.
don't know. It's very weird. There was like a limited edition because Nespresso does like limited edition flavors all
Hmm.
the time. And when Eric's parents moved, his mom gave us all of her pods.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, what is this random thing? And then I Googled it and I was like, oh. But I had it anyway. It's fine. But the redeeming thing I had this morning was an English muffin with some delicious blueberry bourbon jam.
Nice.
In case our listeners don't know, are you okay with me? Are you okay with me
Yes,
saying this on
it's
the
fine.
pod?
Yeah.
Heather's wonderful husband
Mhm.
and Heather have a jam business with the most delectable jam in the universe. And I will take it upon myself to be the spokesperson for the wonderful jam because I go through a blueberry bourbon like once a month. That's not the only flavor, but it's the best flavor if you ask me.
I know. It's so funny because since your Eric is allergic to bananas, I told you I was like,
Yeah.
when we're doing banana butter for the baby shower favors, I'm gonna sneak you a blueberry bourbon. Everyone else is
Give me
getting
that
banana,
blueberry
but you're
bourbon.
getting blueberry bourbon.
Oh, I love it. And then I turned Allison onto it. Allison's
Yeah.
obsessed with it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so
Yep.
good. So anyway, so that made up for my mediocre coffee. Anywho, so let's talk about the books we read this month that we didn't review on the pod. Do you want to start and tell us about your reads?
Yes, especially since you had a like we were back and forth. You had a massive reading month.
I did
Well, two of the books I read were specifically. So I technically read seven books, but two were for
for the pod.
podcast episodes. So I read The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware, which I loved. That was so good.
That's a good one.
I read Are You Sleeping by Kathleen Barber, which was my favorite read of the month. And I just randomly found it at the library. And I mainly got it because I liked the cover. And then I read the
Hmm.
inside of the insert and I was like, oh, this is actually great because it's about like a crime podcast. So I was like, this
I
is
love
perfect.
that.
Yeah. I read Final Offer by Lauren Asher, which was the last book in the Dreamland Billionaires. The other two I read last month, which was good. I
Okay.
like that. And then I read The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah. Don't know how to say her last name. Buchanan? We're going to go with Buchanan.
Sure. Sure.
Which I really, really enjoyed that one too. And then last month, I had said that my anticipated February release was Twisted by Emily McIntyre, and I was super excited about it. And I gave it 2.5 stars because it was
Oh,
rough. A lot of people, like a lot of my friends on Bookstagram that read it,
hmm,
didn't like it. Yeah.
really?
So
And now
it's
remind me, was this in a series or this is just
so
an author that you like?
she does standalone. It is a series. It's like the Neverland series. So they're
Okay.
all based off Disney movies, but they're
Yes. Okay,
she
I remember.
she writes specifically from the villain's point of view,
Hmm.
and they're super like smutty. So
Hmm.
everyone this one was based on Aladdin, so a lot of people were super excited about it, and it was
Yeah.
just missed the mark completely. And a
Yikes.
friend that I had talked to, her first three books in the series were self-published, and this one was she has a book publisher, so she's wondering if maybe it was better because she was able to do it on her own, and now she has to like write for like a publishing
Oh,
company.
yeah, and like didn't have to take input.
Yeah.
So out of all the other ones you've read, all the other like Disney themed ones, you
Mhm.
liked all the
Oh,
other
I
ones.
loved
This is
them.
the first
They
one
were
you didn't like.
great. And then she released what the fifth one is going to be that comes out in November, and it's Hunchback of Notre Dame themed, and I'm like, of all the choices. So I'm
Wait.
like a little, I'm like, listen, the first three books are great. This one not so much. I'm not gonna rush to read the fifth one because I don't think I'm gonna
Wait.
enjoy it.
This is only the fifth book, and she went with Hunchback of Notre
Yeah.
Dame. Like
Hmm.
that was the next one in her mind.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
no, whatever. Maybe she loves it.
No judgment,
It's
no
fine.
judgment.
But I maybe have seen that movie once, and I don't even know who the villain is in that movie.
I couldn't tell you.
I know
I
exactly.
haven't seen it probably
I
since it came
it
out,
was
so I was a little girl.
yeah. It's like same thing as a kid. I was like that wasn't my go-to. I probably only watched it one time.
Yeah, like I can picture the cartoon in my brain, but like not the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing.
No,
Wow,
so we'll
that's
see.
interesting.
Maybe she'll change my mind. I'm sure she'll redeem herself with other books, but
Well, maybe you'll have lower expectations for that
yes, which is
one,
also true.
so it
Mm-hmm.
might be better.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so weird. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So I also read The Golden Couple
Mm-hmm.
by Greer Hendricks and Sarah P.
Yep.
Um, I liked it. Originally, I said that I wasn't crazy about it because I didn't really like the characters, but then you and I talked about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I did like it. I mean, it's a basic run-of-the-mill thriller. I would recommend reading it. Was it a five-star book? No, but I liked it. I read House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Definitely, yes, recommend. It was unexpected. I thought it would be like a very overdone trope, but there was like extra elements in there, and I love Riley Sager, so I'll
I know
read anything
I
by
know that
him.
book. I want to read that one pretty bad.
Yeah, that one is really good. I read A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. I would say yes because it's way better than the book I read last month by him, which I absolutely hated. So, an improvement is a yes.
Yeah.
The Good Lie by A.R. Torrey. This was good. It's a good mystery. It was very twisty. There was a ton of, unexpected twists and turns, and it was just overall a good one. Um, the Venue. Okay, so I read two splatterpunk books this
Okay.
month. And splatterpunk, for anyone who doesn't know, it's kind of like a contested genre because everyone has like different interpretations of it. But
Mm-hmm.
the the brunt of it is it's basically extreme horror. There's a lot of violence and gore, but there's also always very strong social commentary.
Okay.
So I read The Venue by TJ Payne, which was so entertaining. It's it's called The Venue, a Wedding Novel, and
Oh.
it's splatterpunk. So like just that's all you need to know. Very entertaining if you like slashers. The second one I read was Cotton Candy Massacre by Christopher Robertson. Trigger warning, clowns, 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 and more clowns. If you can't do clowns, this is not the book for you. But I liked it. It was so fucking
I think
weird.
I remember seeing the cover you posted on your Instagram story, and, it was a clown, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. There's probably over 100 different clowns they describe in this
Oh
book.
my god.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're into clouds or like abandoned theme park vibes,
Okay.
that's a good one. And then I read The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. I liked this. I didn't like it as much as the Book of Cold Cases,
Mm.
but I am really liking Simone St. James.
I've
She's definitely,
seen just really good
yeah,
reviews of her books.
yeah. So I think like I haven't read like a five-star book by her yet, but all of them I've really
They're still
liked.
good.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're still worth reading. I read Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this was the only book of the month for me that was a big no-no. And I was like, Heather's gonna be so upset with me. This is one of her favorite authors. How could I do this to her?
It's fine because I'm gonna lend you Daisy Jones and the Six, and you're gonna read it, and
Yes.
you're gonna hopefully love it.
Yes.
And then,
So
you know,
there'll be an
mhm.
update next month about Daisy Jones and the Six because I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
read it.
Yeah.
But this one was just it gave me Outer Banks vibes, but without the treasure. Like just like their lifestyle. And like I almost DNF'd it a bunch of times, but they kept alluding to like something crazy happening.
Okay.
And then nothing crazy happened. And I was just like, oh, this was just like a story about their lives. Which if I thought that going in, maybe I would have liked it more.
Mm-hmm.
But they made it sound like it was like a thriller. And I was like, okay.
Oh, I don't think. Yeah, her books aren't. I could have told you she's not a. She's a contemporary
Yeah.
fiction author.
But
I
they made
have.
it sound
Yeah,
like there was like this big
I
event, not
got it.
necessarily a thriller, but like a big
Something
event.
big was gonna happen. Yeah.
Exactly. And nothing happened. So I was like, okay, that was disappointing. And then recommended to me last month by you, Hide by Kirsten White.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it. Have you seen and or read Maze Runner?
No, it's on my.
Okay,
It's on. It's like on my like books I should have read years ago, but
yeah,
never did.
that it definitely gave me Maze Runner
Really? Oh,
vibes.
then I would
Yeah,
probably like Maze Runner then because I told you I
yeah,
really liked that book.
yeah. I think you would definitely like Maze Runner the book. The movies are but the books are pretty good. So yeah, I really like that one. And then the last one was The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. I really liked that too. I thought it was not boring at all because I flew through it and I really liked it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like not a very complicated book,
Okay.
if that makes sense. Like it was just kind of like I read it and I was like, okay, that was good. But if I had to like break down the whole storyline,
Mm-hmm.
it probably wasn't that imaginative or great. I don't know. But either way, I think it's worth the read, especially because it got so hyped last year and it's on it was a Reese's book club
Book
pick.
club. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what about anticipated releases coming up for April?
Well, what was your favorite book that you read in March?
Oh,
Come on,
that's a good question.
I
I'm
gotta know.
sorry.
It's okay.
I know I didn't have any five-star books.
Which is fair, but out of the ones that you read, which one stuck with you the most, or did you enjoy the most?
I
It was
would
definitely Malibu
say
Rising, right?
it was definitely Malibu Rising. I hope they make it a movie. No, I would say it was either House Across the Lake, which technically I read at the end of February, or Sundown Motel, because I
Okay,
really am liking Simone St. James
that's
and her
yeah.
writing. So we'll go with Sundown Motel.
Okay,
All right. So what are you thinking about anticipated releases?
I had one for March, and shocker here, it's a smutty book. Um, it's also a book that was in like a standalone series. It's so the author is Sarah Kate,
Hmm.
and the series is called The Salacious Players Club. And this book is the fifth one, and it's called Highest Bidder, and
Okay.
it's got a silver fox character, which is
Ooh.
my thing.
Yeah.
I It just came out 2 days ago. The release was
Okay.
2 days ago, so I had just started a new book on my Kindle, so that's going to be my next one. I'm
Okay.
anticipating, hopefully, a good review. Last month's was not, so
Yeah.
so at the end of April we'll find out if I did in fact enjoy this book or if it was another upsetting one.
Yes, we need the
But
update. I have heard
yeah,
a lot about this series though. I've
yes.
seen it a
Oh my
lot on
god,
TikTok. And
it's I
how many books are there?
it's five. And
Okay.
do you have Kindle Unlimited?
No, but I have.
That's what I've been reading them on, is because
Yeah.
a lot of these books are I just, instead of buying them, I just do the Kindle Unlimited.
Hmm.
So I actually really like the books because it makes it's basically about a consensual sex club.
Oh.
Yes. And it makes
Oh.
it makes the and it just it's a really great representation of how your kinks and what you like is normal, and there are
Okay.
people out there that like the same things as you.
I like
So
this.
it's really really good. Like, she's just a really good
Okay.
author.
Hmm.
The spicy scenes are, she writes them with such class, and
Hmm.
they're great. So I really it's they're I would recommend them.
I'm
Yeah.
adding this to my TBR because that does
Yeah.
sound like my kind of spicy.
Yeah, the first book is called Praise.
Praise by Sarah Kate. Okay.
Is it Praise? No. That could be wrong. Hold on. I'm going to look it up real quick. It
Okay.
might be. But I think it is, but I could be wrong. There's so many books. And I have pregnancy brain. So while you talk about
And
your books, I'm going to confirm.
well, and all of these books
It is
have
Praise.
like
It is Praise. I was
praise.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
All of these books have like such generic names. Like if you tell me the names of
I know.
books that I've read, I couldn't tell you the plot
Uh-huh.
because they don't give anything away.
Yeah.
Like even The Good Lie, which I read, I'm like, in a month I won't be able to tell you the plot of that book.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, okay, no, that's definitely, I'm gonna check that out. And you said that a lot of your spicy books are available on Kindle Unlimited. That's where you usually find them, right?
That's where I read them. I really don't buy them.
Okay.
I read them on Kindle Unlimited because they're quick
Okay.
reads.
Right.
They're quick reads, and a lot of the times I enjoy them. And she has other books and series that I want to read too. But so far I've only
Okay.
read this one. But she's good. There's a sixth one coming out, and I think this eventually, and that'll be the final one,
Okay.
because
Okay.
they're all so it's four friends that run the club.
Hmm.
So the first four books is about each person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so what's the fifth one going to be about? About all of them? You don't know because you haven't read
A
it yet. I'm
member,
sorry.
an older member. No, but no, it's about no, because he was in the other books. So it's
Okay,
about,
okay.
he's like a member of the club.
Got it.
And
Okay,
then
so
the
then it'll be like
sixth
his
book,
POV.
yeah, and then the sixth book is the same thing. It's about a woman that's a member
Oh,
of the
I
club.
love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the four who organized it and then a male and a female member. That's
Yeah,
cool.
and then the first three are male male members,
Hmm.
and then the fourth book is the female member of the club.
Okay.
And then so it mixes it up. It's not like it's just all men.
Yeah.
It's men and women.
Okay, great. All right, I'm definitely going to check out at least
Mm-hmm.
the first one, see how I feel.
Yeah.
But that sounds like a cool theme or
Yeah, I like it.
storyline.
I like it
Yeah,
because sometimes like people make sex so taboo, and like it shouldn't be discussed, or your what you like shouldn't be,
right.
talked about, and so it's really good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so I am looking forward to two books. One of them will surprise you, but uh, Taylor Adams, who wrote No Exit, which we both read recently and
Mm-hmm.
was a huge thing on TikTok last year, and I'm sure Bookstagram, um, has a new book coming out called The Last Word, and it actually looks really good. It's about this person who left a bad book review, like basically left like a 1 star on Goodreads, which just tracks with us.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah.
and then I guess the book is like the unfolding of the author finding out that she left a 1 star review. So it sounds really good. And then the other one is called Sisters of the Lost Nation by Nick Medina. And it's giving the Only Good Indians vibes.
Oh no.
So I think you may be surprised why I would be anticipating such a release if anyone
Maybe
listens to our episode on Only Good Indians.
maybe you're hoping that this is a better
Thank you, yes.
representation book.
So it's like the same type of thing. I don't know if there's any basketball. That is to be confirmed. Okay.
Okay.
But it's about this girl on a reservation who is dealing with like a bunch of crime and deaths and in her family or something like that. And there's some type of entity haunting her at the same time.
Okay.
So I'm like, maybe this will redeem the Only Good Indians as like this same weird subgenre. And if it doesn't, then I know
Not
that
for you. Just
it's
not
not
for
for
you.
me. And I'm over it. And if there's a mention of basketball, I'm done.
You're out.
I'm out of
Goodbye.
there. Okay, so next book news. There really wasn't too much crazy book news this month. There's a few things. So as most of us know, the CEO of TikTok is currently testifying before Congress because they're trying to ban TikTok, which,
Yeah.
like, stay in your fucking lane. I'm sorry. I understand that there are issues with privacy laws and sharing and et cetera, et cetera. But while he was testifying, he shouted out Book Talk as an example of
Hmm.
how TikTok is educating people, encouraging them to read, and basically like listing it as one of the positive aspects of TikTok. So I thought that was pretty cool because
I
it's
mean,
true.
it is true because if you think about it, book talk is what really caused this resurgence
Oh,
in
absolutely.
reading in authors.
Hmm.
A big reason why Colleen Hoover is as popular as she is now is because of book talk.
1000%. And I saw, a lot of people are speaking out about it because this is going on right now. A lot of like indie authors who really their only way to promote themselves
Mm-hmm.
is on TikTok because, they don't have publishers. They are publishing themselves. It's like you talked about last month with the authors that are self-published on Kindle
Kindle.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
um that's how they promote is like through TikTok and stuff like that. So it would really be to the detriment of a lot of these authors and to, the book community as a whole too. If
Mm-hmm.
as well as, there's a lot of positives that have come from TikTok. I think there's also a lot of negatives that have come from TikTok,
Yeah.
but it was it started and blew up in a time where like during COVID, where it was basically able to expand so quickly
Yeah.
that I don't think they ever saw it happening like that. So now they're kind of having to like face those
Mm-hmm.
consequences and ramifications of not being prepared for how big it was, you know?
Yeah. TikTok is wild. It's a wild,
Yeah,
wild place. I love
it
it.
is. And there's something for literally everyone.
So I remember when I first got pregnant, my best friend Vicky told me, she said, pregnancy TikTok is such a great informative place
Hmm.
because all these people before you obviously had children and they tell you the best ways for like postpartum,
Yep.
the best, they give you recommendations, and so it's just there's so much, and there's
Yeah.
cat videos.
Yes, exactly. There's recipes, there's also like in the past few years with so much like social unrest, it's been ways for people to share information and share support. And while that's not always a good thing, it can be used in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, I think, do I think they probably need to restructure it and address all of these things that Congress has an issue with? Yes,
Yeah.
but if they get rid of TikTok, I'm gonna be really sad. I'm
I
not gonna
don't
lie.
see it happening. I think they're gonna try, but I don't think it's gonna work.
If Facebook can fucking exist,
That's what I was just gonna say. If there's other social medias that can
yeah,
exist,
especially Facebook, which is a danger to us all.
yeah,
Anyway,
agreed.
so that's that. And then the only other things I had were two authors who were releasing that they're coming out with new books. Zoe Stage, who wrote Baby Teeth, which is a book about a creepy child. If you liked The Push by Ashley Audrain or The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry, Baby Teeth is definitely right up your alley. She revealed that she'll be writing a sequel.
That's fun.
Yeah, so because I guess everyone has been asking her for a while. That one's been out for a couple years. And it's funny because I didn't like that book because of the ending, because the ending was so abrupt. So I'm
Oh.
like maybe a sequel will redeem it.
Oh. There you go.
And then lastly, we talked about the other day, Gillian Flynn
Oh,
can confirm this is how she pronounces her name. It's not Gillian, it's Gillian. She did an interview with the Chicago Tribune where she hinted at her next book. Unfortunately, she has no timeline and expects it to not be done anytime soon since she only
okay.
has the first draft done.
It's just been so long since she released a book, and I'm so excited for it whenever it decides to be released.
And like the books that she has are just chef's kiss perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she's a publisher now, so she's focusing most of her energy
Yeah.
on that, and that's the reason she gives us for making us wait so long for a new masterpiece. So I will forgive her
Yeah, and then
grudgingly.
the one thing that I wanted to mention, I forgot to jot it in the notes, was they, what I thought was pretty cool is they released the poster for the Hunger Games movie, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And
Yeah.
they looks like they released like a couple stills from the movie.
And that
So,
comes out in November, right?
November. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited
So,
for that. And obviously, we have our Hunger Games episode coming up. So,
yep, on Thursday.
yeah, so everyone let us know what you think about it, and then maybe we'll make it all the way to Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
That was a prequel, right?
Yes, I think so.
It was a prequel. I haven't read it. I need to read it.
Yeah, I
It's
have it, but I have not read it.
yeah.
But I'm sure it's amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
come
no.
on. Okay, so what have we been watching this month? Before we start, just everyone know, I do have a job, okay?
Yeah, you killed it
And
again.
but I have been unable to leave the house basically for the entire month because we got a new puppy, okay? So I read a lot and I watched a lot. Don't at me. Okay. Anyway, so what are you watching? You start
So
us off.
yeah, I feel like I didn't binge as much this month as I had anticipated, but it was a crazy month for us with the market season starting, and then it
Hmm.
was our wedding anniversary. So it's just I haven't been home as much, but I did I did binge the entirety of Daisy Jones and the Six, which was so fucking good. I already want to rewatch it now that I have now because so they did like a staggered release, so they would do
Right.
the first three, and then they did two and two. So I want to be able to just watch them
Straight through.
consecutively.
Yeah.
It was so well done. I just feel that anything that Reese Witherspoon's company touches is
Hmm.
just always because she did Little Fires Everywhere,
Hmm.
which was
Incredible.
so good. I didn't read the book, but the series was so good.
Hmm.
So just everything she does is just great, and it definitely they definitely changed a couple aspects from the book, but it's pretty close to the book,
Hmm.
and the casting was legitimately perfect.
Yeah, I'm
The
so
original,
excited to read it. I'm so excited
yeah,
to watch it.
the original music is great. The cast has talked multiple times about how they all went through band camp.
It's
So
so
they
cool.
all learned how to play the musical instruments that they're actually playing them
Hmm.
on the
Hmm.
track and everything. It's them. It's not other musicians. It's actually all these actors.
And that's so, it makes such a difference. Like it makes it so much more authentic.
Mm-hmm. But
So that's really cool.
it was great. I cried. It was great. So I started the first season of Shadow and Bone. I didn't get a chance to fully binge it yet. And I recently, just yesterday, bought the first three in the series. So I was told to finish season one, read all the books. So there's, I want to say there's 8 books in total, 8 or 9. I
Okay.
can't remember.
Okay.
And then watch season 2 because season 2 was terrible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, my friend is like obsessed with the series, and she was really, really excited about the second season, and she said it was very, very disappointing.
Oh, that's
So,
unfortunate.
yep. So I'm gonna finish it and then read all the books and then watch season 2.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I know we both started Challenge World Championship,
Yes.
which I really like. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, so far so good. I really
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not crazy about the countries going against each other because it was just automatically not fair that Argentina
Yeah,
only had a couple
but that's
people.
yeah.
So, but once they get down to like getting rid of the easy targets, as they say,
Mm-hmm.
then I think it'll get even better when it's
Yeah.
like US going against US and pulling, the UK and stuff into it. But yeah, it seems pretty good so far. And I like the new the new people from what was it from Challenge USA,
Yeah.
kind of trying to like mix their politics with like the
Mm-hmm.
legends.
Which is, I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic once that really comes to fruition later on in the
Yeah.
season.
Oh, absolutely, because the newer people are like not changing their minds.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? And it's kind of crazy.
But
So, yeah.
it's, and they come from shows like Survivor and Big Brother, which is
Hmm.
it's such a, well,
It's
actually, no, the
just
three, no,
different
actually, no, the
strategy.
three of them are they're all from Survivor. And
Yes, they're
so
all from
Survivor,
Survivor.
you're constantly playing a game. You're
Hmm.
constantly thinking of how to stay in the game.
Hmm.
So it's a little bit different on the challenge because the challenge you have all these bonds formed. It's the same people every
Yeah.
season. So they already know like the big the massive group that they're together, they're gonna all go to the end. So they just
Yep.
pick people off. Whereas on Survivor, you don't really have that luxury. You
Well,
have to
also, it's different because in the past, when people from Survivor or Big Brother, Survivor like Jay and Michelle and
mm-hmm.
Big Brother Amber, like when they came onto seasons of the challenge, they were automatically rookies, underdogs.
Yeah.
So they had to adapt to the original challenge game. But this one, they don't have to because they're coming in like
Mm-hmm.
on equal footing. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, they
exactly
are.
what you're saying, that they're always playing a game, like they're actually able to do that as opposed to just like trying to survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
So
it's really good.
yeah.
And then two of my favorite shows came back this month. The Mandalorian season 3
Okay.
came out, and then Ted Lasso, the third season of Ted Lasso, which is it's just mine and Eric's favorite show. It's just so wholesome and so cute. We
Hmm.
love it. This is supposed to be. Jason Sudeikis had said this was going to be. It was only going to be 3 seasons,
Okay.
but there's speculation that if there's more to tell, they will do more.
Yeah. I love
So
him so much.
I'm hoping they do more.
Yeah.
So, but this because this is our favorite show. We love it. It's so good.
And why stop at three when you could
I
just
know.
keep going forever?
You can be like you and just
Speaking of,
continuously say that this is going to be the final season, and then say, just kidding, this next season is going to be the
yeah.
final season.
So obviously the second half of You
Mm-hmm.
season four, yeah, came out. Um, you didn't end up finishing all of them,
No,
right?
but
But
I looked up the spoilers because
yeah,
I knew that I knew that I was going to get spoiled because I knew that I couldn't binge it in time.
yeah,
So
yeah. Definitely go back
which
and watch it because it's the last episode. I was like very unhappy with the way it was playing out, and I was like, this is like not fitting the show and like the theme of the show
mm-hmm.
and the way it's been going for the past, 3.5 seasons. But then the very end of the last episode, you're like, oh, there's Joe. There he
Yeah.
is.
But I liked that the conspiracy theory that we talked about on the February episode ended up being true.
Yeah, yeah. But not just like so cut and dry.
No,
Like it
no, no,
was
absolutely
true,
not.
but
Yeah.
then it just like expanded
Yeah.
and snowballed and went crazy. So
Yeah.
I really liked it. I mean, like you said, there's now they said they're going to have the fifth and final season, but it's going to be a different showrunner, which is weird
Hmm.
that they're not keeping the same showrunner for the last season.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, why or whatever. I'm sure more information will come out as they start filming it or whatever, but that'll
I
be
think it'll
interesting.
probably well, it could go either way, but I think that Penn Badgley has such a heavy hand in the show too, so I think that
Yes.
he'll probably try to keep it on the same trajectory and the same tone.
Yeah, and they said that so he directed one episode. I can't remember which episode, like number it was, but it was the one where Joe is basically not in the episode at all, and it's like the whole episode is about Marianne,
Okay.
and
And
he
he directed
directed
that
that.
one.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so
yeah,
excited to watch it because I didn't see that one yet, so I'm
yeah,
excited to watch that one then.
yeah. So it's interesting to see like they, they did that on purpose that the episode that he was directing is one that like Joe is barely in, so that he had like the
Yeah.
freedom to direct it. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, so that was
Um,
basically the shows that I enjoyed the most. And then podcast wise, uh, I just started yesterday the episode of the Bachelor podcast, rewatch podcast that we listened to. Love to see it.
mhm,
They had a special interview with Clayton,
mhm,
and apparently he wrote a book,
mhm.
which I didn't know until I listened to the episode. And so it was cool to listen to his episode and his take on his season of The Bachelor and how the whole base of the book is about mental health
Yeah.
and mindfulness, and the whole reason why he started even journaling was because of Brandon being
Mhm.
roommates with him, and Brandon was journaling, and
Mhm.
he was like, I was so set in like toxic masculinity that I thought that was, you men don't do that.
Yeah.
And then he started to do it and he realized how cathartic it was.
Yeah. It is a really good episode, and I mean, like, do I think I'm going to read his book? No, but
No.
he is like very open about all of that stuff. He's very open about how the show has affected him and how all of like the negative comments and the backlash that he got really affected him, and how he's had to deal with that, and basically how like the community as a whole, like what issues they have and
Mm-hmm.
what they could be doing better and stuff. So
Yeah.
I really liked how open he was, because I mean, I could care less about him during his season like everyone else, but he was so much more relatable. Like you could tell
Yeah.
that he wasn't being led
Mm-hmm.
to say things.
Yeah.
And then if we're talking about podcast episodes, we have to talk about Cole Sprouse on
I didn't
Call Her
listen to it
Daddy.
yet. I didn't listen to it yet.
But you've seen the memes.
I've
You've
seen the
seen the
memes.
memes,
How
okay?
could I not?
Why did he smoke 4 cigarettes back to back inside of her podcasting studio? My guy,
Yes.
that's icky.
He gives, but the one thing that is because I was, oh my God, I was so into Riverdale when it first came
Hmm.
out, and then it went off the rails and I stopped watching. But he's just who he is, and that's just it. Like
Yes,
he has no qualms about being who he is and not caring what people
I
think.
agree with that. But I know you didn't listen to the episode, but
No, it's fine.
there were some parts on there. Basically, okay, so he spoke out about being a childhood star, and she asked him, how that's affected him and stuff. And the way he spoke about other childhood stars, like Disney, Nickelodeon stars, was very weird. Like basically saying how he didn't see how there was any abuse happening, insinuating that the people complaining never really had to struggle in their life. So
Oh,
like insinuating that they could possibly be like making it up.
okay.
I'm obviously paraphrasing, but these are the vibes.
But it's obviously not true remotely,
Of
but
course not.
because they just released that article about Amanda Bynes
Hmm.
and
And
her.
but that's why I thought it was so weird, because it felt so inappropriate for him to talk like that, especially because all of the stuff about Dan Schneider came out recently.
Mm-hmm.
Jeanette McCurdy's book came out
Mm-hmm.
recently. Like you just said, the stuff about Amanda Bynes came out recently. Like it's obviously not true. And the way that he just kind of insinuated that they were like making it up for
And
attention.
it's also not his place to confirm or deny their own personal stories and their own
Exactly.
personal experiences.
Exactly. And he did say, like, I mean, I guess that could have happened on their shows, but it didn't happen on ours. But he was just like very cynical in the way he was talking about it. And I was like, it just, it was kind of like invalidating all this other stuff that's going on. And if you don't know, then just like shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah, Disney stars definitely had their own like abuse and trauma, but I do think that Nickelodeon was way worse.
I agree with that. And I think Nickelodeon was like earlier on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I watched Nickelodeon when I was younger, and
Me
like
too.
the Disney shows like Hannah Montana and Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, those were like a little, like I was too old to be watching those, kind of.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, and obviously, like you see, like the child stars that came from that, and they clearly went through some stuff. You had Demi Lovato;
Hmm.
she had her times where things didn't go great for her. Miley
Hmm.
Cyrus,
Hmm.
Selena Gomez, so it's just no matter what, it's children in the entertainment world go through more than you could ever imagine.
Yeah. And I'm happy that this is coming out. I mean, we even talked about it last episode on like the cult of child stars and stuff like that. Like I'm happy that it's basically like the Me Too movement. Like people
Yeah.
are starting to feel comfortable enough to come forward.
Mm-hmm.
And of course there are going to be people who don't believe them. And I'm not talking obviously specifically about Cole Sprouse anymore, but of course there's going to be people who doubt it, who don't believe them, who, say that their experiences weren't as bad as they thought they were, whatever. But it's just good that it seems to be coming out more and people are able
Yeah.
to talk about it more.
I listened to the One Tree Hill rewatch podcast, Drama Queens, and the three of them are so open about the trauma and stuff that they experienced with Mark
Hmm.
Schwann, and
Yeah.
they're very open about it and how you know the shit that he put them through because that was a
Hmm.
whole thing,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
and so it's just and they were teenagers, so
Hmm.
they might not have been children. They might not be like a children's show, but they were still young, impressionable
Yeah. And still
teenagers.
in their formative
They were
years.
only in their late teens, early 20s.
Hmm.
So and the abuse that he inflicted on them, like he was such. It's just the way he treated women was terrible.
Was disgusting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, it was just the whole episode was just like kind of cringy. I mean, I liked Riverdale too when it first came out, so I was like super excited to listen to it. And he is very funny,
Yeah.
but some of it I was just like, girl, it's enough. And the memes had me dying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay.
And he even posted the memes to
Yes,
his
yes, he
Instagram. That's the
reposted
one thing
his
about
favorite
him.
ones.
He does that all the time. Is he'll post stuff and on the internet about himself, or he'll
Oh
like
yeah.
post distorted pictures of himself
Yes.
because he just doesn't care.
And even in the episode, he was like so self-deprecating. Like he talked about like when
Mm-hmm.
he lost his virginity and he's like making fun of
Yeah.
himself. Like I liked it. Like I thought that
Mm-hmm.
most of it he was very relatable. I just didn't like that part about,
Yeah.
don't speak to other people's trauma. That's it.
No.
Um, okay, so two movies I watched this month. Knock at the Cabin. This is an update from last month. I said that I would watch it because I hated the book and the movie was better than the book. Still not great.
Yeah.
I thought it would be really good because it was M. Night Shyamalan. And
But his movies are hit or miss.
I know, and he hasn't had a really good one in a while.
No.
So I just felt like there was so much potential. Also, this is only his second R-rated movie. And
Oh,
yeah, which is weird. I know. His other movies are PG-13, and I
I didn't
can't
realize
remember the
that.
other one that's rated R. It might be The Village. I don't know. Don't quote me. I'm not sure. But there was like there were parts where seeing like the kills or the blood and gore would have actually helped the storyline,
Got ya.
and they didn't show it. And I'm
Mm.
like, that's weird because you got an R rating. I
You
don't know
shouldn't
what
have
the
needed
R
to.
rating was for. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very weird, but it did have a different ending than the book, so that's why I liked it better than the book.
Oh, okay.
So that was
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
And then Eric and I watched the Murders
So
docuseries.
my Eric watched it with his
Girl.
friends the one night that they were here, which I
Yeah,
was shocked because Eric doesn't watch this kind of stuff.
yeah.
And then he was. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard that it's.
It is fucking crazy. So like I didn't want to
Yeah.
watch it because I was like they're still going through his trial at the time
Mm-hmm.
when it came out. Like there's still so much more information, but there was so much background that I didn't know about. There's obviously things during the trial that they didn't include that like there is more to the story, but just like seeing all the stuff that this family went through and like how powerful they were and how brave these people are to speak out about it in the
Mm-hmm.
docuseries is like it's wild. It's definitely worth the watch if you're into true crime and stuff. And it's only I want to say it's only 3 episodes.
I think that's all it was
Yeah, so it's not like it's
because the
super
trial
long.
was still ongoing.
Yeah, so this is basically like the background of like all the other sketchy deaths that have happened around this family and about the son who was killed, um, the things that he went through
Mm-hmm.
beforehand because he had some legal troubles before all of this. So that's it's kind of like the backstory. So that was really good. And then obviously we both watched Love is Blind season 4. The first 5 episodes
Mm-hmm.
dropped. We won't spoil anything, but it seems like it's going to be a very good season.
Yeah, I think so.
There's lots of drama. There's a lot more in the house drama than there has been on
Mm-hmm.
past seasons. Um, I watched Devil in Ohio on
I
Netflix.
I have that on my like checked off to watch.
So I liked it. Apparently, it's based on a book. The book has horrible, horrible reviews, but the show was pretty good. It's about a girl who escapes from a cult and they find her in the hospital, and the psychologist who's treating her takes her home to foster her, and then like shit just unravels from there. Um, but yeah, it's only like 8 episodes, I think, and it was a pretty good watch. It's very creepy, especially if you're into like religious cult stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. Um, Eric and I watched 20 Something's Austin, which I know
Was
didn't
that any
just come
good?
out. Okay, it's the real world. Like, why is
Yeah.
MTV not suing Netflix for doing the real world? Because that's what it was. But I wanted to watch it because I was curious about Abby because we saw her on Perfect Match.
Mm-hmm.
My girl is a hot mess. I know that she has grown since then, but on this show, oh boy, it's entertaining. Um, so entertaining. Okay. Survivor, we've both been watching,
Yes.
obviously.
So good.
So, what do you think about the new era of Survivor with all the twists and idols and fake idols and advantages and all
Um,
that?
I mean, when they first changed it to make it shorter, I was a little perturbed by it,
Hmm.
but kind of like the fast pacedness of it now, and I really like the advantages this season. Like the or the like the I like that when they open the bird cage and there's a real idol and a fake idol,
Hmm.
and then you could hide the fake idol,
Yeah,
and I think that that was genius. That
I
was
completely agree, but and like Tyson talked about this on his podcast, how is this going to set up future seasons? Like people are going to find an idol and never believe if it's real.
which makes it even better, I think,
Yes.
because it causes that doubt.
Like they're
Do I
like
have a
you're
real idol?
literally never
Or
safe.
and then so you have to eventually play it, and you're either it's going to be 50
Hmm.
50. You're either safe or you're going home.
And it's going to completely affect the final 3 tribal council
Yes.
because
Yes.
if you play an idol wrong and you get embarrassed like that, even if you don't
Mm-hmm.
go home, oof, that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it too, but the only thing that I don't like is how much screen time it get. Like this past episode, the most recent episode, the entire episode was about hiding the fake idols, finding the fake idols, finding the real idols, the journey with those idols. Like there wasn't enough camp life and like strategy talking. It was mostly just the idols. So I'm like, I like it, but I want a better balance, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, you know?
Yeah.
But but I think it's cool how they're not just doing the same thing over and over again because obviously they can't because people have seen the seasons, but but it's definitely a new era.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last TV show, which there's 3 seasons. I just started season 2. It's called Tagged, and it's on Netflix. It's giving Pretty Little Liars.
Oh.
It's about like these 3 girls who are tagged in a video of someone being murdered. That's literally the
Oh.
first episode, no spoilers. And then the whole rest of it is just like someone is fucking with them by like tagging them in videos, texting them, filming them. Like it's definitely giving early Pretty Little Liars vibes. So, and
Okay.
Eric is watching it with me. I mean, he loves it. He's like, the show's so great. And I'm like, do you want to go back and watch all 10 seasons of Pretty Little Liars? Because
No, thank you.
that's a journey I would not
I didn't
do.
even make it through. Like I think I only got through 3 seasons.
Oh, I watched to the bitter end.
Oh no, I believe you and
And
I
you,
commend you.
no, 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 no. You are lucky. I wish I was you, okay?
Yeah.
Um, I think that's it. Looking forward to the Waco docuseries just came out on
Yes.
Netflix. It came out a couple days ago, so that's next on my list. It's supposed to be really good. Everyone's been talking about it.
Good.
And then The Last Thing He Told Me, which is based on that book by Laura Dave. The TV adaptation comes out April 14th on Apple TV. So, and it has
Nice.
Jennifer Garner in it. So we'll
And the
see.
guy from Game of Thrones, I think.
Yes, I can't remember his name, but yes,
It's
him.
like Nikolai or something.
Yes.
Nikolai, something like that. And then tonight is begins the final season of Succession, which I'm very sad about, but also so excited that starts tonight.
Oh, okay. What season is this?
4.
And this is the final one.
4?
Okay.
4. Yes, 4. And it's the final one. I didn't know that until I saw the trailer for it, and I got really sad.
Oh,
Because it's so, oh my god, it's just, HBO, man, they really come out with some quality TV shows.
no, they really do. They really
And
do.
I hadn't watched it when it first came out. My friend had told me I needed to, and then I binged the first 2 seasons, and I was able to watch season 3 when it came out. And just all of these actors play these parts phenomenally.
Yeah.
And Brian Cox is just, I think he's Scottish. He's just a Scottish old king, and I love him so much. And it's just, it's really good. It's definitely, you can't do anything when watching it. You have to fully focus.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not something, so like
There's a lot to
when I
follow.
watch it, I don't look at my phone. I'm just, because you have to. And it can be dry
Okay.
sometimes, but the writing is so good. The storylines each season, the cliffhangers they leave it on each season are always so well written
Oh,
and
wow.
just
Yeah, everyone talks about
so.
it and says it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. So I'm
Yeah,
missing out on that one.
and it's just so funny because Matthew McFadyen, who plays Tom in this show, his character is just, so he played Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice with
Hmm.
Keira Knightley,
Hmm.
and so seeing him play that to this is just totally different spectrum.
That's so
And
weird.
it's great because his character is like this nerdy guy who's just always puts his foot in his mouth, and it's just great. I
Oh,
recommend it.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else that we're looking forward to this month?
I was looking it up, and I think that there's really actually not much coming out in April. I think
Yeah, I
because
think
everything came
it's
out like
in
now,
March.
and now they're probably anticipating summer releases.
Right, right. Yeah, so we're just gonna continue Survivor, the
Although
challenge.
I do have to go see the Dungeons and Dragons movies with my husband, but it's gotten like super high ratings on Rotten Tomatoes,
Oh, I'm sure it's gonna be good. And I'm sure the budget is like crazy high for those
and it has a great cast.
movies.
It has Chris Pine. I'm like, I will go see it mainly because Chris
Oh,
Pine is in it.
I love Chris Pine.
Me too. So that comes out. I think it comes out this Friday.
Okay. All
So
right.
we're gonna. I think they did a special screening this weekend, but it comes
Yeah.
out on Friday. And this is going to be the first movie we're gonna see in theaters since before COVID. Because
Really?
even before COVID, we couldn't even remember the last movie we saw.
Yeah. I think I saw Halloween the latest, not the latest one, the one right before this latest one. I went with Eric's mom. And then we were supposed to go see Scream 6 the weekend it came out, and then we got the puppy, and it all
now
came
your life
tumbling
revolves around a
down.
puppy.
Yeah, so now I'm like, I'm gonna wait for it to come out on Peacock, which it probably will in the next
Yeah,
month.
it will.
So, but that's exciting
Nice.
to go to the movies. You
Yeah.
better get a nice big thing of popcorn. Are you allowed to have popcorn?
Yes, and I'm actually so excited because I haven't had movie theater popcorn in years, and it's my
There's
favorite
nothing,
thing.
there's nothing
There's nothing.
comparable.
No.
Like, it's unparalleled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so shall we get to our book questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to go first, or would you like me to go
Sure.
first?
No, I'll go
Okay,
first.
go ahead.
So, in the theme of nostalgia, since we both reread The Hunger Games and did our episode on it on Thursday, I wanted to go back even farther to your childhood
Okay.
because Eric and I, when we went to Virginia this past weekend, we went to this bookstore that was kind of like not like an antique bookstore. Well, it was like a trade bookstore, so
Oh, like a
you would
book
bring
trader?
old books,
Yeah.
yeah, and then it was and I was there, and a books that I loved as a kid. I was obsessed with the TV show Arthur,
Oh, I love
so I
Arthur. Yeah.
had all the books, and
I didn't even know there
before,
were books.
yeah, and I loved them. They were so great.
Wow,
Well,
okay.
I had found some at the bookstore, but I didn't buy them because I still have mine from my childhood,
Oh my
and I
gosh.
kept them specifically if I end up having a kid, so I could share with them.
That's
Yeah, and a
adorable.
couple of them are tattered. They're written in, they're
Yeah,
ripped. But
missing covers and yeah.
yeah, so I used to always read the Arthur books. I read all the Clifford books.
Oh yeah,
Like
Clifford.
PBS shows I loved, and then I would get the books when they came out.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a nostalgic thing. So I don't know what you read in your if you can recall like before like Fear Street and all that, like what you read as like a young kid.
I I don't, well, okay. I started reading,
Or like Babysitter's Club, right? We were like young kids when we read those.
yeah, I started reading chapter books in first grade. So I can't remember before that, but
Mm-hmm.
my main thing in first grade, like the first chapter books that I started
Yeah.
before I got into the scary stuff, were Sweet Valley Twins,
Yeah.
which was like the spin-off of Sweet Valley High. So
Mm-hmm.
my sister was reading Sweet Valley High because it was more of like a YA preteen
Yeah.
thing,
Uh-huh.
and I was reading Sweet Valley
I
Twins.
remember those
Oh
too.
my God. And I was obsessed with them. And we had a book trader by our house where we grew up. And my mom and I would go and we have to find, because, obviously there's like 1,000 books in the damn series.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to read them in order. And we would try and like hunt down all the books because I would fly through them.
Yeah.
So those were definitely like the first ones I remember really being obsessed with.
Oh, I love it.
And I wonder, oh my God, I just want to read one like just
Me
for,
too. Like the same thing because I remember going to the library. I had bought them too, but I remember specifically going to the library for like the Babysitter's Club, and
yeah,
same thing. I would have to read them in order. I have this OCD. I can't read book series out of order, even
yeah.
if they're like standalone. I don't care. I need to read them one, two, three, four, five. I
Oh,
need
I
to read them in
totally
the
agree.
order that they were released.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. It's like reading a book backwards. Like
Yeah.
you have to read them in order.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, that was a good question. All right. So my question is, what living author would you love to meet and why?
I've actually met one of my favorite authors before,
Oh, you can tell us about that if you like.
but I'll also answer that too. I met Sarah Dessen.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Eric and I went to the Brooklyn Book Festival a couple years ago,
Uh-huh.
and she was one of the speakers there, and you got to like meet
Okay.
her after, and she signed the book that I bought.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have a picture with her too, but I love her because she was one of my favorite YA novels, like teenage
Yeah.
novels. Her books were really impactful. But I think I'd want to meet John Green.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd want to meet John Green.
And why? What would you say to John Green?
like where he gets his inspiration from too, because every single one of his books that I've read are different. Not neither of them is the same.
Oh, okay. So that's a good question.
They have, and they're also so tragic,
Yeah,
and you wonder where you pull that from.
that's so true. And that's like a good question for any author. Like, is this just something you woke up in the middle of the night and it came to you, or you drew from
Mm-hmm.
experience, or you drew
Yeah,
from books that you
because
read,
each
or
book, each book is so you cry reading every single John
yeah,
Green book you read. Like The Fault in Our Stars had to do with cancer.
yeah, mm-hmm,
Looking for Alaska had to do with suicide.
mm-hmm,
Paper Towns had to do with the love of your life moving away. Like it's
yeah,
just like
yeah,
it's and like
all
trying to
very
or like
different
running
but
away.
sad.
Yeah, so it's they're good. And I like he does a podcast with his brother Hank. It's called Dear John and Hank
Hmm.
that Eric got me into, and I'll listen to that once in a while. And they'll
Okay.
answer because Hank is like a science nerd.
Uh-huh.
So they'll each talk about they'll answer people send in questions and they answer them,
Hmm.
and it's good. I like him a
Okay.
lot. Yeah. What about you?
So mine is J.K. Rowling. Obviously,
To punch her in the face?
well, first to thank her for the Harry Potter series
Yes.
because it changed my life in
It changed
so
mine
many
too.
ways. It
Mm-hmm.
My family bonded over going to see the movies when I was younger. I connected with people and friends, and I'll just never stop loving it.
No.
But I also would give her a nice big slap across the face for being hateful
Yep.
and for tainting my experience with the
Yeah.
series
Mm-hmm.
because the thing that made me love it and made, everyone love it so much is that it felt so accepting. Like it was so okay to be different or to be the smart girl or to be, just to have a fucked up family life. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone was included. And then when she came out after and said that so many of the characters were LGBT, like, oh, I'm sorry, no T, just,
Yeah.
just, queer characters. And then now she comes out as just anti-trans and so hateful and so just passionate about her
Yeah.
hatefulness. It really like sullies the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes back on everything that it was supposed to stand for.
Mm-hmm.
So I would thank her, but then I would slap her.
Yeah. It's like a catch 22.
Yeah, exactly. Mixed feelings. But anyway, so anything else that we have to touch on?
No. I think that's our March wrapped up.
All right, well, that's all we have for you this month. If you like what you hear, please make sure to follow, subscribe, and rate and review the podcast on whatever platform. It will really help us since we're just starting up. So if you can rate and review, that gives us an idea of,
Mm-hmm.
how we're doing. If you have any questions or book recommendations for us, you can email us at fullybookedcalfpod@gmail.com. We will also be looking for listener questions regarding our upcoming reads, so keep an eye out for that on our Instagram. And you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Fully Booked Calf Pod. Thanks for checking us out, and remember,
If you need us, we're fully booked.
bye.
Bye.